What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. My name's Cole, and this is episode 4 of the Micro Galaxy Squadcast, the internet's only show dedicated to all things Micro Galaxy Squadron. You can find audio episodes on major podcast services, and videos are always available live and on demand on YouTube/Micro Galaxy Squadron or over on Kevin's Micro Fleet channel. As always, Kevin co-hosting with me tonight.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
What's happening? Thanks
How are you,
everybody
man?
for showing up early. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yeah. Chat's already popping off here.
I know, great.
Now you
Welcome,
were always
everybody.
on the show with me, but tonight we're not alone. We have our first guest host with us. Halo, Pokemon, Sonic, plushies, and of course, Star Wars. This man collects it all. Nostalgic Adam. Welcome to the squad.
Welcome. What's up, man? Finally, this has been such a long time coming.
I know. How's everyone doing, man? Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, for those who may not be familiar with you, can you give chat just a brief rundown of what you do, where they can find you, what some of your content is?
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name is Adam, and I am Nostalgic Adam on all of my channels, so YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Great marketing move doing that.
You like that?
Neither Kevin or myself have done a perfect job of that.
No. Well, thank you. It kind of just rolled just now. But man, I am a collector, and I've been a collector ever since I was a kid. My mom kind of ingrained that into me with like her own collecting niche, and ever since then, I've been collecting Jurassic and Sonic and Star Wars and Pokemon, and here I am an adult now, and I'm still doing the same thing. And right now I'm like super hyper focused on like vintage items, specifically like plush, like vintage plush. And
I've seen that. That's been a big, what got you on, was it the Sonic movie? Was it Mario? That's a more recent thing, I feel like, where you're just, you are Mr. Plush right now.
Yeah,
from Japan, importing a lot of these things too.
Yeah, I love Japan. God bless Japan, man. Well, I've always been a plush guy, but like lately I've been like super like into fifth gear with this, because there's like a lot of exclusive items out there that were made that are like going up in value like tremendously. Like some Sonic plush sell for like a few $1,000s, like regularly all the time for a plush.
Wow, no kidding.
And
there's a market for it, you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm just fascinated by like obscure vintage plush that we never got within the States. And I love archiving. Like I love YouTube. I love looking at videos of people that have, done a history or like an iceberg of a particular item or thing, and they're able to talk about, this whatever it is, and kind of just bring us back to that realm back in like if it was '02 or in the '80s, whatever the item is. And I love that, and I'm bringing that to my own channel and to my own socials, is like archiving and preserving history, for vintage items. And so I'm like super into that right now, on top of all my modern stuff, including
the other things. Yeah.
No, that's nice, man.
Micro Galaxy, how did you you've covered it fairly extensively. There's not a whole lot of larger channels that cover this on a regular basis. How did you stumble across it, get into it, decide to make content for it?
Yeah. Well, very similar to Kevin, but Kevin is just a far superior collector in that realm, is Action Fleet. I had them when I was growing up. I also had like the little micro, landscapes.
Common story. Yeah. Yep, same.
I loved that. And that also ties into like Mighty Max. I had a lot of like Mighty Max stuff,
Yeah, seen that.
Yeah. And when this line was announced and introduced, I was like, dude, this is like this is cool. This like totally takes me back. And then to know that like there's more details, and then sound effects, and then they started with like the Millennium Falcon, and like I just dived headfirst into it. And obviously I haven't looked back ever since then. And I'm so much more grounded and into the line now, is because we're getting ships that I never thought we would ever get ever, you know. And,
Sure.
and that's great to me as a collector.
Now, chat should know that there is one ship in particular that we have not gotten that you desperately would love to see in the line, and I think some in chat would also like to see it.
Yeah.
Tell the good people what that ship is.
Oh man, it's got to be the Ebon Hawk. I mean,
Yep. I knew it.
I even, the HasLab Ghost. I didn't even take out my carded figures because I'm not going to. They're unpunched. They're beautiful. And I decided to fill, I don't know if you all saw the video, but I decided to fill all the cabin space with like Kodor figures. Like I put Revan and Bastila and HK in there because I was like, this is like the closest thing I could get to an Ebon Hawk to putting all these people in here right now, And I was just living in that moment.
Mine is still taking up space in my garage, unopened. I don't know what to do with it, but I do love the guitar stand trick.
Yeah.
I might do that. I've been episode 1 we featured Steve Hines, who's in the chat, his Brotar setup, which is, in my opinion, the successor to Detolf's. I've got my first one came in and I've got it like 80% completed. It's staring me in the face right now. It's almost done. I need to get it finished and moved in, but the Ghost fits perfectly in it. The Micro Galaxy Ghost fits perfectly in it. Not so perfectly in a Detolf. So I'm excited to finish that thing and at least get the Micro Galaxy a little more manageable size-wise in a display.
Yeah, absolutely.
No idea what's going to happen to the TVC thing. Maybe it'll just sit there collecting dust.
And be a coffee table.
Sidebar: what I've always wanted to do with either the big Millennium Falcon or potentially the Ghost, but I've always wanted to do a what do they call them? The tables with the glass,
the resin, right?
A deep table, like a deep coffee table with the glass.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, put the Falcon inside of it. Or
I
whatever.
feel so dumb. The name escapes me. I've Google searched plans for them 100 times, but
to build one yourself.
Yeah, I if I could find one for a decent price, I would just love to just buy one and not put in that effort. But they're very expensive. Shadowbox, right? Is that it? I'm thinking of Shadowbox, kind of a Shadowbox coffee table where you can put in that whole massive Millennium Falcon from Vintage Collection.
Wow.
And do that. So that would be my ideal setup for the Falcon or the Ghost. But the best thing about Micro Galaxy, we don't have to do things like that, do we?
They're micro.
No, you don't. Yeah.
We've got all kinds of people in chat already. Let's see who's hanging out here tonight. What's up, Straswa? Good to see you again. Always here.
Whoever that is, I love you so much. You're very supportive on all of my content, my videos. And
big on Reddit now. Recently, not recently, but has been big in Reddit too. Always positive. What's up, Stargazer? We're big fans. Brent, another awesome community member. Matthew, the power is out here, but still watching in my car. So
nice.
Just for you guys to know, the wind here is insane right now. So if I go black, my power has gone out, and I don't know when or if I'll be on. So I will text you guys to keep you updated on that. You may even hear the wind or my house creaking. I know a lot of the country right now has got some crazy wind stuff going on.
Yep.
There's the man with the incredible display, Steve Hines.
Yeah.
DC Metro, how are you, man? I think we've got an image from you here we're going to use tonight.
Yeah,
TK, good to see you again. Let's see. Ride and Glide. Milton
What's the opinion on the ARC 170? We're going to talk ARC 170 here in a little while.
Oh, we sure will. The Box 3113. D Sertle, good to see you, man. How's it going? Tom Davis. 804 Sandman. How are you doing?
Man, I love all these names.
First time in live chat. It's a name I do not recognize. So welcome. Glad to have you here. Chad Langer. We've got all kinds of people. Vimesis Angel. Hal Runner. Good to see you, man. a winner of one of our giveaways, I believe, at some point a few weeks ago. Carl McGlynn, Ray Skywalker.
Nice.
What's up?
I like that.
Tuba Deluxe, toying around. Kevin, so
Kevin,
good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well. Hope you're hoarding very cheap eggs up there in Canada. Wes Sanders, Tricon 40. I believe we're mostly caught up. Sam the Media Man, Jason S. Good to see you guys. Man, there's a lot of names. All kinds of people coming in.
There are.
Damon. Hello.
Dave.
Yep. Welcome.
Sam Malone.
Sam.
All right. John Remmel. Joseph G. Welcome. We are so glad to have you guys tonight. So, I hope you're here to hang out with us and talk Micro Galaxy Squadron. But some of you might be here just for the giveaway that we were announced a little late in the game, just today, just this afternoon we announced it. Not a lot of lead time, but this week we had so much fun last week doing one live. I think we're going to do one again this week. We are going to give away the Chase Marok from Ahsoka. Hasn't been the easiest one to find, I don't think. Right, guys?
No.
It's been terribly difficult for me. It seems like everybody out there is finding like 2 or 4 or 8 of these damn things, and I've only
Night Brothers
got one of them.
It's just raining Night Brothers from the skies, apparently. Not so much the Maroks, but I have seen a lot of posts of them.
Yes, agreed.
But thanks to Jeremy B in the Facebook group, I now have a couple of them. And what better way to use one of them than to give them away to one of you amazing people? So I'm thinking, what hashtag can we use for Marok? I believe
I know. I've got to get the
we
URL.
went with Ralph hashtag Ralph for Ralph McQuarrie for the A-Wing. I don't know if you saw that, Adam.
No.
I think people that were logging on were very confused while we were doing hashtag Ralph.
All right, I've got it up here. I'm ready.
Yeah, this week I'm I'm thinking through it, and I landed on hashtag Green Mist.
Gas.
Hashtag
gas.
Yeah. Hey,
gas,
Nick had it. Nick saw exactly where I was going with this.
Yeah.
Jason says fake Ezra. That would have been a good one, but that's what led me to this. People had a million for weeks. People had a million theories about who Marok was. Turns out, in Lost style, he was nobody. Nothing crazy about him. He ended up being just Green Mist.
God.
Hopefully something with the Night Sisters. I don't know. It was a little unclear. I
All right,
assume
we're
it was
doing
the
Green
Night Sisters,
Mist.
but if you drop hashtag Green Mist in chat, I believe I've already started it, so we should be collecting entries. Is that right, Kevin?
Yeah, I just started it. Did you start one?
I did.
Okay. I've got 3 entries. How many do you have? 5.
Well,
do we have 2 running simultaneously?
I don't know. With the smart people that run the internet, my hope is it's just smart and knows. Just keep that window open, and I think we'll be good.
Damn,
lots of Green Mist
entries
dropping in
already.
chat. Lots of new
entries.
people in here. What's up, Zach? What's up, Wes?
Yeah, everyone put hashtag Green Mist. This count is going up super fast. Man.
Just so you're aware, you cannot enter more than once. It doesn't work that way. Also, capital, lowercase, does not matter. Totally up to you.
We're at 48.
Love it.
Entries already.
We will we'll give you guys a little while to
Can I double down on this with you?
We will not say no to that.
I'll put in a second winner, and I'll give away this Luke Skywalker's Chase, the vintage 5000. I'll give that away to anybody as a second place winner.
Oh man!
I tell you what, Adam.
Can I?
We might talk about this later, but I do not have that.
Oh shoot!
I'm trying to get in on my phone and log in. I'm trying to log in and win that too. One of the only ones I do not have.
Really? You know what's so funny is I I used to be really good at finding the chases and the rares. I used to be like keen. And then for whatever reason, I just couldn't find them. Like I still haven't been able to find the Night Brother. I haven't been able to find Merrick's ship. I never found a hologram X-Wing. And people were finding like, 6 at a time of those.
Yeah.
But I did find this
that way
at a random Walmart when I got off work, and I went in there, and then I actually ended up getting a package from Jazzware. So technically I had 2. So I want to give my second one away to anybody.
All right, there we go.
Amazing.
So to be able to enter in that again, green mist, hashtag green mist.
So
go ahead and pump that into the chat.
Do we double the pot or do we double the winners?
Oh, I think we should. I think 2 winners would be cool.
Yeah. Let's end this after maybe 1 or 2 segments. Okay. And then listen, my marketing brain's moving here, and just to keep people on the line, we'll start that one about halfway through the show and call that one at the end. Okay, Adam, I need you to think of a good hashtag for that one.
How about nostalgic?
Hashtag nostalgia. Now, only people with a 5th grade reading level will be able to enter that one. Enter nostalgia correctly. Only the Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? No, Damon, I did not buy the no, honestly, it's one of the first ones I did not pick up. So I thought, maybe I can come across one once they come out and just pick them up or trade for.
All right, everyone's starting to put this in there. Hold on a second.
So $100. Oh, sorry guys, I don't know if we can. We're not doing that yet. Hashtag nostalgia has not started. I don't know if we can run one concurrently. So don't put that in chat right now. Green Mist is the only one that's working.
We've got 58 entries currently. We've got 80 people.
Please continue to put in silly hashtags because I do love those. How many people do we have right now?
I like that one. This is the next hashtag for sure.
Yeah. That'll be fun. We'll do a second one later in the show, everyone. So please do not continue doing hashtag that other one. Green Mist is the only one working right now. A little premature. All right, guys, we have a metric. We'll keep it PG. We have tons of info to cover this week, mostly due to Toy Fair, but Amazon's dropping all kinds of products. The world of Star Wars is going nuts. So many things to cover. Why don't we start as we always do? Kevin.
Okay.
Can you give us a rundown of what's happening on the store shelves?
Absolutely. Here we go. So starting out with retail updates here, Target. So U-Wing and Pod Racers are down from 50% to 70% off. One of the things that I have found is that if you're out in the store and you're looking at them on the shelf and it doesn't show that discount, make sure you take it over to the scanner and scan to see whether or not it will still show up on there. I did find that happen at a couple different locations that it wasn't showing that it's 70% off on the scanner. It does, and at checkout it does as well. So make sure that you do go through and do that. Shuttle Tidarium released on Sunday at Target. So that is now available to be purchased on the app to do, you can either do store pickup or you can do shipping. It is available on Amazon as well. Currently, it's listed as unavailable. Once that does pop up, you'll start to see some links flying around. We'll get those out. Series 8 Starfighters have started to hit Target on the West Coast. They're making their way east. So, Adam, I'm not sure whether or not you've seen any around you, but they are starting to make their way to like the middle of the U.S. right now. I have yet to see anything on the East Coast, but hopefully we'll be seeing that pop up here very shortly.
I went today. I didn't see anything.
Nothing? Okay, cool. Yeah. So hopefully we'll start to see some more things pop up. We've got Series 8 Scout class all over Walmart. So some reports of discounting as they're trying to get rid of Series 7. I believe that they're going to be putting those on clearance. It looks like the cost could range from $3 to $5 or whatever. I think it's $5 anyways. But some people have been able to get
several $3 reports.
Yeah. And so just keep an eye out for those. And then we also have Ross actually is getting the Return of the Jedi Vault Pack, which is an interesting
Oh man,
piece of
Adam is
news for
Mr.
sure.
Ross. Adam is always
Yeah, have you
got
seen one yet,
the,
Adam?
He's
No.
always on the Ross beat.
I haven't yet. I've gone like to 2 or 3, and I haven't seen it yet. And
I've seen
I'm
several
looking.
Texas reports of them,
Yeah.
so they're down there for sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pretty interesting, right?
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
It's kind of crazy.
Especially considering the amount that are being found. I mean, there's a lot. So
Yeah.
if that's a one of 3,000, like, geez.
Yeah,
3,000
I
maybe
wish
is a lot
I
more
had
than I anticipated.
Wish I had done a little source code check up there to see how many had sold on Vault.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, Ross is, there is nothing more hit or miss than Ross.
Oh my gosh. You have to
At
go
all.
at exactly the right time when they're taking the things out of the back to put them on the shelf.
Mhm.
And
Yes,
it's
I mean,
unfortunate because it's always a miserable experience.
Yeah.
always.
So
when you walk in there and it's the beep, 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 because somebody's
beeping,
shoes
someone's
are
yelling, angry.
shoes are separated.
Yeah, the ones I frequent, the lines for whatever
The lines
reason
are
are about
super long.
800 people long,
And
and I have to think, what could possibly be in this store that I would wait in that line?
right.
I have gone back and hid some like TVC figures in a shelf, and I'm like, I'm coming back like right before close.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it is nuts. You know, they've got 1 or 2 people checking people out, and everyone's cart is filled to the brim with random stuff. Just not a fun experience. And I have not had great luck, especially with Micro Galaxy, finding stuff. But I've been shocked at how many people have found these Return of the Jedi packs and the First Order, just the Special Forces First
Right.
Order tie.
Yeah.
No reports of anything else, just that one ship. I don't know why they singled that one out and how that one got sent to Ross, but they must have had a ton of them.
Yeah.
Now, Adam, do you ever do you're in Ross, you find something that's like kind of cool, but not quite, and it's like $3, and you're like, do I really want to wait in line for 20 minutes to get this $3 item?
Oh, yeah.
Or am I just going to pass on it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I did that over Christmas, and because the line was just atrocious, and there was like one checker, and I was like, man, do I really need just this extra vintage collection figure? You know, and I was like, nah, and I just like put it back. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was also
Yeah.
hungry at the time too. I was like, I want food like right now.
Yeah.
But Ross has been a dream. Like,
And you're into a lot of different stuff, and a lot of that stuff is things that do pop up at Ross pretty frequently.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been hitting Ross like I don't know if y'all remember when Captain Rex was hitting Ross for, it was like $1.99. It was like $2 for Captain Rex Black Series, and then he was consistently selling for like $100 and something. Like, I went to a Ross, and there was, I kid you not, 12 Captain Rex there at one time. It was unreal. And so I love Ross. I've had really good luck. I found Sabine's tie at a Ross out here in Texas, and it was
Oh, you lucky
crazy.
man.
Yeah, so lucky.
Never found one. Brent, Age of Grogu in the chat, was kind enough to send me one of his that he found. He found a few of them.
Nice.
So that hits all of the news that we've got beyond, obviously, all of the Amazon stuff that's hit now and has been shipped. So I've actually got all of the common starfighters for Series 8, the Armada V-Wing, Silencer, and the Torrent. And then I know for sure that at least one of our mods has got the Anakin Armada Interceptor.
For light armor.
For light armor. But yeah, we haven't seen any reports of the Silencer or the Tri-Droid fighter yet in anybody's hands. And it does look like the ship date got pushed back on those. So they were going to ship on the 11th of March. It looks like those were pushed back to April.
Light armor always dancing to the beat of its own drum.
Yes, it totally is.
It's always doing its thing. While we're on the topic of Vault,
Yeah.
Did no, we kind of touched on this earlier. Did either of you guys order the Series 6 set?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I had one brought over.
Nice.
So that's
no
why
big deal. No big
that's why I'm
deal.
able to give this away. Yeah, I was
Um,
actually very surprised. I had no idea on this one. So that was
nice way to
Yeah.
say that. Yeah. I did not order one, but I'm hoping I'll find one of those the Luke vintage. Do we know what to call that? There's no official title for that one. I've been
Kenner
calling it the
X-Wing.
Kenner X-Wing. I can't
Yes.
imagine that they want it called Kenner, but
Right,
you think they just call it vintage? Maybe.
Right. I know they just called it what Luke Skywalker's.
I know it's got to have some kind of parentheses, parenthetical thing there. I would go with vintage, maybe.
We're at 61 here on hashtag Green Mist. If you are just joining the show, go ahead and type hashtag Green Mist to enter yourself in a raffle for the Chase Marox Fiend Fighter. If you have not put hashtag Green Mist.
Hashtag Green Mist. We do.
We'll
We've
go,
got quite a few more people now than we did.
I think we got to
earlier.
69 on the last one when we went ahead and paused it.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know why that one stands out. But
88 on the show right now. So if you have not put that in there, go ahead.
Yeah, we're at 88 right now, so we should be at like maybe some of you have this already, and you're not entering for the sake of everyone else, and
yeah,
I appreciate that.
All right, so we want to go ahead and launch into some of the Series 8 stuff. So
I guess since we're talking Vault,
yeah,
I thought it'd be a good idea now that we're getting Series 8 commons in hand to kind of go back and take a look at these first look editions that have hit the Vault, and just do a little game of comparison.
Absolutely. So here's the first one that we have, which is the V19. Now, Adam, do you have the Vault version of this, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I went and pre-ordered that.
Yeah. The I will say the difference is way greater than I had anticipated it to be. I was thinking it's going to be like just a little bit different. It is a lot different.
Thank you, DC Metro, for the image, by the way.
Yes, this is DC Metro's image, but I've got a review on my YouTube channel as well that does have the kind of full comparison. So you get like a 360 view of this. And not only do you get the difference in the markings between, the V19, call it 3, where it's got the 3 dashes that's on the left side, and then the 5 that are on the right.
Love that.
Yeah, the actual, so the clone trooper that's shown here on this image, both of them are the Vault edition.
I was going to say, I thought there was a difference in those. I'm glad you brought that up.
The standard edition does not have the markings that are on the arms. Let's say there's like a black marking like right on their arm. And so
it has less deco, basically. The clothing beneath the armor on, I think, the arms and maybe the back of the legs.
It's right on the front of the legs, actually. There's like
on the front of the legs. There's a couple places of the clothing that is not there on there. So not only does the ship have different and extra, and this image doesn't show it, but obviously the cockpit was painted to the nines on the Vault edition.
Yeah.
But even the micro figure, better paint detail, which is cool.
Way better paint detail. Agreed.
Cool little feature. I think my favorite aspect of this was the calls, the designations, the call signs. One being 3, one being 5. Man, what an awesome way to get just some variety. I wouldn't say I'm mixed on the first look editions, but I do think that is a great use of these to alter it just enough so that it's not just extra deco like maybe the silencer,
Mhm.
Yep.
but it is a different ship. Side by side, they can both live on the shelf, and they are different versions of the same ship. So I think that's a great use of First Look. We don't know if they're going to continue this, but in my opinion, great use of that. I was so I do not have a comment of this yet, but
Yeah.
I was very
It's
excited when
pretty
I saw
stark,
that because
the
it's
difference.
it's a different ship.
Yeah, and the difference really is a night and day, to be perfectly honest. Once you have it in hand and you get a chance to see just the weathering that's on it, the wash is slightly different as well, so the panel lining pops a little bit more on the actual vault edition of it. But it's an easy one to army build. Like, it is so easy, especially with the common version. Army builder style. Yeah, I would agree. Changing the markings slightly on some of the first edition relative to the common release.
100%,
Totally agree
yeah.
on that.
I think
Yeah.
that's a
Now,
great use of vault.
Adam, you've got the you have the Red Squadron, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What did you think about that compared to the other common releases that we've got? Of like, well, we have the rare of Wedge and then Luke and all that.
Yeah, I never found those on their own, so I really the only one I have to compare it to is Luke. And
Oh, really?
yeah,
Nice.
for a while again I was doing good. I was tracking a lot of them down, and then I just struck out. But
Yeah. You have friends here.
yeah, I know. I always hate to try to take from other folks. Like especially like the both y'all's Facebook groups are so generous with people. People are finding so much stuff and like willing to share the loot. Which I love that.
Yeah, there's some super generous and kind people in those groups that are not looking to make a few extra dollars on them, and will really help people out.
Right.
Love to see that. So we also have a lot of people getting from Amazon too, getting the TIE silencer in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these are from Jonathan over at Rebel Scale. He did a great job here with these pictures to be able to show off the
Rebelscale.com. Go
differences.
check him out. Great guy.
Yeah, great guy. Awesome for being able to get the scale. The these images, it's still like they really don't do it justice when you see this actually in hands, because the silencer, the common version of it, just does look like a molded gray plastic ship, versus the Vault edition that has some of that extra paint detail and really does make it look much more much nicer. So here is the guns on the laser cannons there on the end, where again you can see that a little extra metallic paint on the one on the right side is the Vault edition.
Yeah.
And then this part
And
of it
there's the big one.
Yeah.
Night and day. Wow.
Right.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool too. You can even see the silver that's right above, like just behind the cockpit on the top of the vehicle.
Those two tiny lines, I just noticed that.
Yeah, and that does make a difference when you're looking at it, because it's, it does make it pop a lot better.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, this would have been
on
nice.
the one side, you've got like mega mainframe, and on the other side, you've got grayscale.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And it would have been nice to have at least a general idea. I think that, to be perfectly honest, the Vault editions would have sold significantly better had we had an opportunity to see the change in deco between what the common one's going to look like and what that looks like. Just because again, the
even if they had
different.
focused on that being the selling feature, it might have been nice.
Yes. None of the images showed any of that.
Adam, I don't know if you remembered that, but there was only one little image in a tiny like animated GIF at the bottom of the page that had a quick
of the engine bay, right? Yeah, and that was it. Exactly.
No promo images, nothing had that in there. I did bring that up with them. It's like, going forward, it would be so nice to feature the selling point, which I think is wherever that deco is located, the cockpit on the Torrent, obviously that engine bay on the silencer. Let people see what they're paying $15 extra for.
Right.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about the packaging to those two releases compared to anything else that they've done? Because they're very similar to the 2023 con exclusives.
Yeah, the what
I
did
think
they
they look
call that?
great.
The storyteller series,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the storyboard
Yeah.
series.
storyboard series. Yeah,
Yeah, I think they look great. To be perfectly honest, the window of it, the way to be able to display it looks really nice because you can kind of like you could keep it in the package the way it's designed because that.
Mhm.
And the great thing about when they originally transitioned the vault boxes from the gloss to that matte finish
Yeah.
was like I originally hated it, and then I got it in hands, and I was like, "Wow, this looks way better." I mean,
Right.
way more professional. So
Right.
yeah, I think that they definitely stepped up the game with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
what do you think about it?
I absolutely love that style of packaging because let's say it's an even more exclusive ship and you're like, man, I really don't want to open this thing. The way you could display that with extra light, to kind of just enhance the overall look to it. I don't know. To me,
yeah.
it's a beautiful display piece, and I like how there is still like a scene in the back, that still complements whatever the ship, is from. And it's just I love that packaging a lot.
Yeah,
It's really nice, especially when you consider that the vault is a more collector focused
Right.
spot for people to pick this stuff up. Although I do know there's probably a pretty decent portion of the people getting that might begrudge paying extra for something that they might not display.
throw away. Yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but
Yeah, no,
I know
no.
they joke about it. Yeah, it looks amazing, but not everybody's going to keep the packaging or display it in the packaging,
Right.
and I think you're paying a little bit for it. So again, I I I was a little mixed on first look. I think after seeing these compared to each other the past week or so, I am much more appreciative of these first look versions, especially something like the torrent that you're getting months, 3 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
The silencer when you're getting it 3 weeks ahead of time, not quite as exciting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do think there's a little I do think it kind of has curbed my excitement for the Starfighter series though, because I have the best versions already. And now that we've kind of fallen into this thing where we're getting 2 new molds per class per wave, I think is what it feels like to me. For the most part. That's, Headhunter is a new mold for the chase, which is a different issue. But um around 2 new molds and to already have both of those.
Yeah.
I'm not as excited for that Starfighter wave. Basically, it's just, I'm gonna be out there looking for that headhunter that we'll talk about in a little while.
Yeah, certainly putting those two in the same series was probably not the best choice. Maybe if you did the silencer in this series, the V19 in another, or vice versa. That way you're not putting them both
100%.
because
One if they're gonna continue this one per series, I think is probably a little or one Starfighter, one light armor, because light armor is a pain to get
light
anyways.
armor is
So
a pain to get.
that would be cool too.
Yeah, I think
I
if I had any critique about the packaging, kind of like Adam's talking about, you can light it from a lot of different angles, which looks really
Mhm.
nice. But the rubber bands that they're using and the plastic thing that they're putting on there, if they did just something slightly different with the blister to make sure that the ship just can sit in there snug,
Mhm.
that would be way better. Because
Sure.
that's the one thing I didn't like about it is, you know, you can look at it and it looks really cool in there from like 3 feet away.
Right.
Once you get right up on top of it and you see this huge piece of plastic, strapping that thing down, like, that's kind of a bummer. But
Yeah.
you can open that thing from the bottom, cut those things off, and it does sit in there nicely, and then you can,
Yes.
kind of reattach everything, and it also looks pretty good. I wonder.
DC Metro wondering, what would people buy
Oh.
past series vehicles with this level of extra deco?
Hmm.
It
People? I
it
don't
makes
know
me
myself. Uh-huh.
yeah, it makes me think though, like how many past ships that we've received that are like, ooh, what else could they have added to this to really make it pop? Like
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
looking up at some of them now.
there's some that could definitely I wouldn't the further we get in the line, I actually wouldn't be upset with a new mold here or there of some of the Series 1 stuff. You know, if we got a new X-Wing mold, a new Falcon, maybe a few years in, you know, we're 3 years in now. I wouldn't mind another go at the Falcon.
Yeah.
I only bought 4 different versions of them, but if they came out with another one that's, you know, I think it's close to what they did with the Ghost, but the Ghost is next level. They've had 3 or really 4 years of extra development time. So they're not at the same place they were when they first started developing the line. It would be cool to see a few of those items kind of rehashed. I would absolutely be in on it.
Now, Adam, where do you fall on just the Star Wars what is it, eras in terms of the toys? Are you like an OT, Clone Wars, sequel trilogy, or do you not really care? You're good with all of it?
Oh, dude, the sequels are the best films they've ever put out by far. No, no, just kidding. Don't burn me at the stake. There's good moments to the sequels.
That's the part I'm clipping and putting tagging your channel in it.
No, there is genuine good areas of the sequels, and for Micro Galaxy Squadron, it has been, in my opinion, the vehicle scenes. Like just seeing Poe Dameron do a full like 180 flip around in the X-Wing, just seeing different maneuvers that we haven't seen before is really cool. It just brings a new perspective to
That's a good point, man.
Yeah, to what these ships are capable of doing, you know, rather than the just standard dogfights, which
that whisper scene in Rise of Skywalker is probably one of my favorite moments from the sequel trilogy.
Right.
Yeah.
Such a cool. I was hoping we could get one with a Rey and a Kylo.
That would be great.
With that,
Rey with a
one
lightsaber,
with her lightsaber ignited. Hey, great Vault exclusive there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's rehash the chase that we're never going to see with the damaged wing.
Yeah,
and somehow make that a Vault exclusive with a Rey with ignited lightsaber.
Yeah.
Kylo. I would totally be down for that. I love when you can kind of like complete scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I'm pretty like era agnostic. I just even bad Star Wars I'm okay with.
Right.
You know, and most of it's pretty fun at the very worst.
Yeah. I would say my number one is going to be just the prequels. I grew up with the original trilogy. It was on in the house. My dad really enjoyed it. My dad was never like super invested. He just liked it. But I really started to saturate myself with like the prequels. And I'll say it again to this day, episode 2 is my favorite out of all the Star Wars because there's just so much character development and lore, and you just get to see so many different characters. And then just like who sees like 50 freaking Jedi battling in Geonosis, and then the gunships come. There's just so much going on, and I mean, I know a lot of it is like Anakin's love arc.
That's a take,
you know. I know. I'll die on that hill. I love episode 2.
It's better if you look at it as a like noir detective film.
Now on
Obi-Wan
that line,
on the trail, you know,
on the prequel line, we've got a prequel vehicle that's coming here with the Tri-Droid, which is pretty sweet looking. I mean, have you seen this thing yet?
Not in person, just on like the images that y'all have been putting out and the people that have been at Toy Fair.
Pretty cool. This is not a vehicle I would have ever thought we would get because it's a droid fighter. It's not actually piloted by anything. The fact that they came up with the idea to put a droid in this was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Revenge of the Sith anniversary is gonna, I think, pay dividends for us.
Yes.
With some really cool stuff. So it looks it's a great ship. It's a very unique design. I think it looks really cool, but when I see it, there is something that's like slightly like one of these things is not like the others. Do you know what I mean? I get just a tiny like different line vibe when I look at this. There's something about it, and I can't put my finger on what it is. I don't know if it's the paint. It's kind of different. Maybe they've changed up the paint that they're doing on it. But when I look at it, it just doesn't look quite like most of the other things in the line to me, and I'm not sure why. It looks great. It's very cool. I don't know if I'm alone in that.
It's a unique vehicle in and of itself. The one thing that we are starting to see too with some of these, which we'll see when we get to the TIE Reaper, is it does look like we have some accessories coming along with these. I think to try to make the line slightly more kid friendly, to be able to have something that actually comes off the vehicle.
Yeah, let's hit that a
We'll
little
get
harder
to here in
minute.
a little
I do
while,
have
but
some thoughts on that.
yeah, for sure. Now, let's see. Let me check the giveaway here. We're at 71. Do you want to go ahead and pull Green Mist?
If you are just joining, we have 110 people in right now, which I believe is an all-time high. If you've just joined and you see hashtags and wondering what is going on, if you would like a 1 of 5,000 Marok chase from the Ahsoka series, you have about 30 seconds to hashtag Green Mist in chat, and we're going to call I think it's a good, before we get into all this product news here, let's call a winner on this one so we can start the other one here in a minute.
All right, we're at 72.
Everyone throw up your hashtag Green Mist in chat. What are we up to now?
We're at 72 still.
110 people.
Cool.
Let's see if we can get one or two more. Whoa, here they come. Here they come.
We're at 75.
We've got all that. We found the delay. We found whatever the
oh yes, yeah.
the video delay is about 15-20 seconds here, because now they're rolling in.
Does it automatically cancel out anybody who does it twice?
Yes. Yeah, it only accepts one.
Very cool. Awesome.
76.
What's up, Caleb Lloyd?
All right, Cole, tell me when.
We're at 76. Let's stop at 77.
Okay,
a wonderful number for Star Wars. The year that Americans got to see the first movie.
Nice. So sentimental. Let's see. Can we get one more?
Hashtag Green Mist. We need one more entry.
There we're at 78. All right. 78.
Hey, that's fine too. That's the year that the UK got to see the first movie.
It's drawing. Wait a second. Why can't I get the thing to show up? Winner.
Are you able to screen share before you do it?
I can't do it. It's not letting me do it. It doesn't even give me the option to screen share. But Rey Skywalker is the winner.
Hey,
Rey Skywalker, RAY, with a sweet looking Mustang as the icon there.
Congrats, Rey Skywalker.
Congrats, Rey Skywalker. I don't know why they wouldn't let me push that over.
Yeah, well, not quite as climactic as last time, where we got to watch all the names scroll by and then the confetti. Adam, you'll appreciate that it looks quite like hitting a birthday grunt.
Yeah, I saw that.
Grunt birthday party, is that it?
Yep, exactly.
That's what it's like when you win. I love it.
Maybe it was because you started it, Cole.
Possible. Who knows how these things work? We sure don't. But Rey Skywalker, if you will hit me up at microgalaxysquadcast@gmail.com, send me your info. I do see you in chat. Congrats, man.
Congrats, Ray.
So now let's take just a second to refresh that page and start a new giveaway. Adam, you've brought goodies, setting the bar high for guest hosts. Let me tell you.
Oh,
I don't know what Paul's going to bring when he comes on. Maybe a signed.
Just having his presence there is.
I know that's unreal. A gift in and of itself. One.
All right, we're going with nostalgia. Nostalgia.
Are you ready?
Hashtag nostalgia.
So
it is starting. I've got 6 of them already.
Drop hashtag nostalgia in chat for your chance to win Luke Skywalker's X-Wing, parentheses vintage. I'm calling it right now.
Again, hashtag NOSTALGIA, nostalgia. You got to spell that accurately in order for you to actually get the entry.
Yeah.
No hints.
Anybody
no hints. You must be at least this smart to hang out with us on here.
This is a very cool ship. I love this ship. I
Well,
love.
now you're just making me jealous.
Enter in, man. You got time. I like how the hashtag actually works for the vehicle myself. That I didn't really think about that. It's cool.
So, hashtag nostalgia for your chance to win. We'll keep that going for a while here and drop that maybe after our discussion segment.
Cool.
But we were just kicking off some of the newer product news on Amazon. Very unceremoniously, the listings just popped up the last couple weeks. Light Armor popped up about a week ago for Series 8. We just looked at the Droid Tri-Fighter. Next up was the TIE Striker, which is now sold out. The only one to sell out so far. I believe we've got an image of that. There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. TIE Striker.
There it is.
It is striking.
It is
very cool.
striking.
Rogue One. I can't wait to pair this with Antok.
Yeah. Now, have you seen this, Adam?
I will say.
What's that?
And I know this has been brought up before.
Just a few images.
Okay.
I think on one of one of your guys' Facebook groups, I believe.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. I love seeing the actual pictures of it in at Toy Fair. I will say, interesting location for the joint, the some assembly required joint there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there might have been a better place for that.
Yes.
But I will say, there's probably two paths of thinking on this, and it's a very tough job to balance. What does this look like in the packaging? Is this appealing to the average consumer? And what does the end product look like assembled? And those things sometimes might be a little bit at odds with each other. So there, it's things like that I think they're wrestling with, that to us, it's like, well, I would have liked it 1 inch behind where it is, but there's somebody in marketing that's saying like, hey, this thing cannot look like a totally different ship, or, it can't look battle damaged in the bubble. It's got to look like a decent ship there. So I do have some sympathy for him in that regard, but you can clearly see the joint on the pictures from Toy Fair. So, and in the promo image, it'll be interesting to see how that looks in hand. Hopefully a little better. Does that bother anybody else?
Yes, it bothers me a lot.
Okay.
Bothers me a lot. The I have the Bandai model version of it.
Okay.
And it looks awesome. Like with the wing looking like uniform all the way, looks great. And then the fact that we got the whisper and the silencer almost exactly the way that this could have been designed, where that whole front part of the wing could just come off and then put it in. And this makes me really fearful of the Defender that's coming. How are they going to do that? Because I
sure hope the whole wing comes off.
Yeah, and I did a 3D printed model of it. That's what I would imagine it to be. Like, I did it where the cockpit is about the size of the TIE Interceptor, and that thing does not fit inside of a light armor class box. You
Kevin,
have to take
don't make me nervous for one of my favorite ships.
Yeah.
I don't need you putting that on me right now. I got enough going on right now. I don't need to be worried about the Defender looking interesting. Let's say interesting. But
I think the Defender will be detached at the cockpit. I don't think so. I think what they would probably do is where the wings attach, you take them off of the strut that's on the back of it, that little tri-strut. That would be the way I would imagine them to do it. And
I would gladly pay $3 more for it just to be in a bigger bubble in Starfighter class. By the way,
100%.
Just leave it intact. Solid, no assembly on that one, and I would gladly pay $3 more for the larger class.
It still wouldn't fit, unfortunately. Not with the size of the bubble. You have to take it apart, because I tried to show like some comparisons of it with the 3D printed version right next to the actual bubble, and it 100% will not fit.
Oh,
so
man.
They're gonna have to take the wings off of it.
They're worse problems to have.
Yeah.
As we move along, light armor, we got to see confirmation of Anakin's Jedi Starfighter Armada Edition. You know, I don't know how exciting this is for the 110 people watching right now that are probably pretty connected, but to their defense, Revenge of the Sith going to be in theaters about the time that these are hitting shelves and Amazon. So it is not a bad idea to have this back on shelves for the movie actually being in theaters.
Yeah.
So from a marketing standpoint, synergy standpoint, I totally get it. I think the people that have had it in hand, it is almost exactly the same as the version that came in the vault and the second batch of Battle of Coruscant battle packs, meaning R2's dome deco is the updated paneling on the top. From what I've heard, the wash, a lot of it almost exactly identical to the last one. But main character, cool ship. The movie's going to be in theaters. I get it. Not exciting to me, but I don't think it has to always cater to the few thousand of us that are on Facebook every day. There are other people, hopefully, that are buying these on shelves, parents and kids and stuff walking by, and we'll see that and pick it up. So I get it. To our earlier conversation, I think if they were to actually change the Armada editions on some of these as a variant in a way, it would help, if there was just something to shake things up a little more, because with series 1 and 2 Armada editions, there were significant upgrades that could be had. The later we get in the line, there's more parity from series 3, series 4 really onward. I don't think we're going to see a lot of those updates and reasons to double dip. So it's good that something like the TIE Bomber might be coming in Series 9, so that it's not just, hey, there's other reasons other than like, hey, this is one people want and it was not distributed.
Right.
We need to get this one back out there. That's always a great reason, is to get it in more hands that want the ship.
Right.
Yeah. So here's a quick note from Zach. Looks like the shade of yellow is a little different, and that's not snaking. That's supposed to be Anakin. Anakin has more paint. So
Okay.
snaking has more paint. You get a snake with this one too.
What does more paint mean? Do we know?
Yeah, if Zach, if you can just go ahead and pop that in the comment, what more paint is.
Yeah, the
and
deco
while we're
looked
waiting
very
on
similar
that,
to me. Maybe it wasn't.
let's take a look at some of these other things that came out of Toy Fair. So we have a couple other items to look at. So first is the Z95 Headhunter. The one thing that is interesting about this that I do absolutely love is it comes with a flight stand. So this is very similar to what we're getting with the Fiend Fighter. And this thing looks awesome. What do you think, Adam?
Oh, absolutely. I saw that right away and I was like, wow, like I don't know too much about this vehicle. And so that obviously led me to like dive in more about it, and then to see that as a stand is pretty cool. A lot of people have been asking for that.
Yeah. And it's got a unique character as well. It's got a clone called Warthog. So
Yeah.
I don't know Warthog. I don't remember from the series, but whatever. Pretty cool.
Any chance to get a named clone in the line?
Right.
Great.
Yeah. And this is a rare 1 of 15,000. So before everybody goes absolutely nuts and is like, oh my God, I'm never going to find this thing. This is going to be as prevalent as Hera's X-Wing and, all of the rares that we've had, the Shadow V-Wing, the Night Brother, like these will be all over the place. So don't go purchasing this on the secondary market for $100. It's going to drop down into the $30 range here in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it appears that Walmart is going to get these as well. I mean, I would have no reason to believe that Walmart would not be getting these. Typically Walmart is hitting just a little bit later than Target. And so we saw that happen with Series 7 as well. So don't freak out if you don't get a chance to see it. And then the other one that we've got is this CIS AAT tank, which does look sick.
Yeah, dude.
This thing looks so cool.
Several reports of the Headhunter this past week at Target.
Oh, really?
Zero reports of this one so far.
Right.
And I don't know. This is still giving me a lot of confirmation bias when it comes to my theory of the vault packs. That the first 1,500 or so are probably getting reserved for vault. And then everything after that. So we're seeing a lot of, this has happened several times now, where the first batch that shows up in stores, that first wave of allotment fulfillment there are little to no chases packed in. And then kind of like we saw at Walmart, Marocs are showing up now that they're getting restocks. So, it'll be interesting to see if any of those pop up at Target. But I was on the repaints as a rare and chase train for a while, but this is one that, man, I sure would like to have one, and 1 of 5,000 is a little bit of a bummer for this one. Right. And really, the Headhunter being a rare is an interesting choice, because I don't know if that was it's a very specific, not mainstream ship. And did they think like, hey, we don't want to Ventress this thing, and let's make this a rare, I'm curious what the thinking was when they did that. But
yeah, certainly considering for a long time now, really since Series 3, they stated they would not do original molds as a chaser rare. Now, they did get away with that a little bit by releasing 2 of the same vehicle at the same time. One is a common and one is a chase, obviously here with Shin and Maroc. And they did
Whisper,
that.
Same thing.
Yeah, they did that with one of the other ones, whatever it was. Oh, yeah, the Whisper. Yes, the Whisper. That's right. But other one that I think is awesome, Adam, are you a Mace Windu fan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Dude, have you seen this bad boy? Check out the droid on that Jedi Starfighter.
That's a great looking droid. I do like that.
I missed this one.
So this is, we've only seen this at Toy Fair now, but this would be the rare from Series 8. So this will be we might see this at Walmart at some point. Wow, there's a good chance this will be a Vault exclusive, because who knows what's going on with light armor at Walmart. It's a real crapshoot right now. They skipped Series 6 at retail, I believe. Walmart did not stock Series 6 light armor on the shelves. We saw some Series 7, but not a lot.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the whole Series 6 thing with Walmart is the only thing that they did have was the A-Wing chase. That was
online.
Online.
Yeah.
And they had the Armada TIE Fighter. So, but yeah, I love the droid here with Mace Windu, where you get that gray droid with the blue and the yellow on the top. So my high school colors were blue and gold. So I'm like, man, that thing looks really cool. And not only that, but the Jedi Starfighter itself, the design of it looks really cool. And then on the right side is the chase, which is Obi-Wan's Jedi
main character as a chase there.
Yeah,
pretty interesting move. But again, episode 3.
So Obi-Wan there as the chase.
Interesting move. I like the ship. It looks good. I think that version looks really good alongside Anakin's.
Yeah.
More so than the Clone Wars one that we already got.
And we're still missing one more Anakin from the
green one, right?
Which is the green one.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the one he actually flies in the movie.
Listen, if there's any place in media that they can pull these things from, I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been shocked at how many of these they continue to squeeze out of those molds.
Now, the other picture that I saw here, I almost skip past it, was the actual Series 8 Starfighter class collection box. So this was also there at Toy Fair, and
Inside
somebody
the
snapped
vault.
a picture of it. Yep.
Mhm.
So we know that is obviously going to be coming here at some point, which will be great. The fact that they have the box, so they did this actually with Series 7 with the light armor class. They showed off that, and they released that before the other stuff.
Yeah, I do want to circle back for a second because a lot of these old molds makes a lot of sense. We're getting a lot of the repaints and stuff. Older molds, but with the Tri-Fighter and especially the Headhunter, probably reasonable to assume those are newer molds.
Mm-hmm.
The stands thing, just something I it's hard for me to get over. I don't know if they are trying to put Kevin out of business.
Yeah.
with his with his stands, the 3D printers, but that's nuts because the Headhunter has landing gears on it. It has
does.
actual functional landing gears on it. And it comes with that stand like the skiffs had, that
Yeah.
ball.
Mhm.
Yeah, the balls joint or whatever.
That
which is
ball,
great. Like,
socket.
trust me, man. I'd be totally fine if they put me out of business. If they start,
So
providing some stands.
do we think this is a thing? It seems like a random thing for a one-off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely.
I mean, that's cute. People have been asking for this since the beginning. And it's taken series, now we're hitting series 8, and it might actually be coming. And the design of that leads me to believe that that's something that can easily be replicated in almost any vehicle. I'm curious what chat thinks about that. Is that something people are into? They're not the tallest stands. That I think they're about 2.5 inches, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
But it does get them off the ground, and that ball, if it's tight, allows you to get some pitch, yaw, roll, whatever.
Yeah,
The
the only
terms are.
disadvantage of that is I think calling back to what they originally wanted with this line was to not have some of those gimmicks where you have like this hole in the bottom like Action Fleet used to have to be able to put it on the stand. So certainly if you start going that way with that ball joint, I mean, that's a pretty significant, that ball joint is, or the actual ball in the end of it's 7 millimeters. And
Yeah.
it's pretty substantial size
And
to put a hole in the bottom of that.
we'll probably talk about gimmicks here in a minute, but
Yeah.
with some of these other pictures. But in the realm of gimmicks, that is one I am perfectly okay with. I am not typically ever staring at the bottom of these ships just for the fun of it. And I would much rather save materials, save acrylic random stands on Amazon. I think you can. I would much rather see that little socket be on the bottom of a ship and have a stand with it. It doesn't bother me having that little ball socket on the bottom if we're going to be able to have the option to have a stand in each one. So who's to say right now what the plans are? I actually would love to chat with them about that here soon. But that's a big deal to me seeing that on there, because it's not like the N1 where it should hover.
Right.
It has landing gears on it, and we're seeing a stand with it. So to me, that's massive news. And is that something that they're going to continue with? I don't know. It's cool. They're listening to the people, I think, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, before we get into the next piece of news, because we do need to hit these last two vehicles because they're huge and awesome. We've got a giveaway going on right now. So hashtag nostalgia hashtag NOSTALGIA. If you have not put that in the chat, go ahead and put that in. I did figure out the error I made. So we've got 111 people on right now. So if you want to go ahead and pump that in the chat, and we are at 73 entries currently to be able to win the Kenner X-Wing Micro Galaxy Squadron Chase, 1 of 5,000. So, yep. If you have not done that, go ahead and put that in there. Love KT Custom Stands. Oh man, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
They're
I've got a
rolling in
bunch of
now.
them sitting here.
We're back up to 110. If you're just joining us, thanks for reminding
Give Adam
people that that's going
$20.
on, Kevin.
We're at 77 right now. We're going to give it 30 seconds here when we get to one.
Are we doing this now? We're
1 hour and 11.
gonna draw.
Let's do it. We're at 80 right now. I did figure out my problem with how I did this last time, so we're going to be able to get this thing popping up here.
Hashtag nostalgia.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and screen share.
They're still rolling in. Lots of them coming in now. We've been jabbering so long, people forgot to do it here. Oh man, even more than the last giveaway, right?
Hold on, my mic keeps going in and out.
Oh man.
Let's see where we're at here. So we're at 80 currently.
Hashtag nostalgia. If you are just joining, you have about 15 seconds to get that in here.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna count it down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're drawing. Here we go. Everybody get fired up.
Love it.
It's
Love it.
coming
Oh, I see some familiar names in there. What's up, Mecanthrope?
Zach. Hey, Zach King. Welcome. Thanks for putting in the nostalgia.
Cool.
You are the winner of the Luke Kenner Micro Galaxy Squadron X-Wing.
Yeah.
Congrats, man. Always nice to see a familiar name winning those.
Awesome.
Yes, it is for sure.
So yeah,
Zach has been in the community for a
Facebook,
long
group
time.
member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to reach out to me, give me your details. I'll get this shipped out to you tomorrow. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for doing that, Adam.
dude.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Spreading the love.
Yeah. I'm trying to do a giveaway each time I hop on here. You know, I think that'd be pretty good to give back, you know, some doubles or whatever I might have, you know.
Absolutely. I'm sure everybody in here will appreciate it.
Love doing these giveaways. Those are very fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was
at
cool.
what
That was a
point
little
we'll
more
monetarily
exciting.
be able to keep doing them, but
I know.
they're a blast. As long as we give you guys goodies to keep watching us.
Right.
When the
Now
goodies
we're gonna
runs out, we'll see what the viewer base really is.
Yeah, our viewership
Right.
is just gonna tank.
Right.
Everyone's signing off now.
Cool.
No,
Well,
I'm kidding.
congrats. That's fun. I will say, thanks to our good friend Caleb Lloyd in the chat. Episode 5. Little spoiler for you guys.
Yes. Biggs.
That is Series 4
man,
Biggs.
you got yours. Mine must be still making its way across the United States. So
Hot
yes,
commodity,
dude.
Lots of drama. Will we
lots of
see a
drama.
vault release for it? Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably not.
Do you feel like the differences are that stark between, you know, that and the Red Squadron set?
Oh
No,
man,
I don't think so.
No, but does it matter?
Yeah, no, I don't think
Yes.
so. The one interesting thing about the Bigs, which I think is going to be so much more fun for everybody, and this is one just to give. I don't know how in tune you were to some of what we talked about with it, but you know, such a long journey to get to people actually getting Bigs in their hand between the initial release of the series not actually hitting the stores, that
Right.
case assortment that had the bomber and Bigs not being in it. And then we had this super long delay. Finally, we got the teaser. We're going to be getting it on Vault. Then it's going to come in a month. They skip it. then it shows up as it's going to come in November because it's in one of their marketing material. They skip it in November. Then all of a sudden it pops up and somebody says, hey, I found a case of 48 of these. Then we do some digging. We end up finding out that person bought the case from somebody else that has 17 cases
of 48, which means
of
he had about
48
800
bigs. And
at
then
the time they were going for about $400.
Holy
so
smokes!
Then
dude.
there was a lot of stuff going on in the background. There was a cease and desist actually that got out to that person. They ended up having to stop selling it. And so fortunately, some in the community were able to pick some of these up before all of that happened. Apparently,
there was an accidental
buyer.
eBay listing that went for much lower than what the seller intended it to go for, which is amazing for the end
community.
consumer.
Yeah.
Yep. And so fortunately, we have some
Adam. It's been the
people out
wildest thing I think that's happened in the line so far. It's been a crazy journey.
I didn't know it was that deep and there was that much going on. I mean, I heard some things, I saw some things, try to catch up, here and there. When I learned about it, it was that extensive. Wow.
The Biggs lore runs deep.
Yeah, no, it is a very fascinating story. It'll be really cool in a few years to look back on this and go, man, you remember that all that stuff that happened with Biggs?
Yeah.
So no, it's
and
pretty cool.
I love stuff like that because there's always, in every collecting line, there's always something, where it's like you look back on, you're like, dude, that was the figure. Now it's like,
Sure,
a few $100 or $1,000. And so, Biggs very well could be, that thing that we talk about in the next 10 years,
Yeah. Similar to the Hollow TIE Fighter when that came out and it was going for $100. And I was like, all right, I want to get one that I can open and one that I can keep. And then, got it for $100 like when it first came out. Now it's like 1,000.
Crazy.
It's like nuts.
And as we found out with Sabine, the story may not be over for Biggs.
Right. Yeah.
He may show up at Ross.
He may show up. That is the exciting thing about seeing that first, or the Special Forces TIE Fighter, is that they are getting Starfighter there too. But either way, we've got two more big pieces of news. We got to get to this because I've got kids that got to get up in the morning. So let's go ahead and take a look here at one of the ships. And this was a surprise, actually, that Good Morning America had a video that popped up showing off some of the cool toys from Toy Fair. And one of them, which was like this was my favorite of the two, is the TIE Reaper. Yeah. So this thing looks awesome. It looks huge. It looks like it's probably about 8 to 10 inches long from front to back. The wings seem to open on it.
Per listings we've seen.
Oh, it's a Dreadnought class. Fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. So here's a great picture of this where you can actually see the interior. It's got two different, and it looks like there might be a third.
Yeah, Mike's cutting out a little bit there.
Sorry, lost you there.
Yeah, so on the mystery Walmart listing, I believe they initially had 4 Death Troopers listed with this. It'll be interesting to see if it ends up coming with 3 or 4. But absolutely stoked to get Death Troopers in the line. I love that. I hope they're just slightly taller than your average micro figure in the line.
I think
that would be great. I would love that.
Yeah, I think they will be.
I hope, I feel like the scale with the micro figures has been a little loose. There, Chewie isn't super tall, but it would be really cool if these were just slightly taller than your average micro figure. And again, somebody mentioned in chat, very odd choice, but there is always a chance that we could see this in Andor season 2.
Yep, so I wouldn't be surprised to see.
They know things we don't. They don't have to spoil it because they can label it different media because we've seen it before. But man, what a great deal they've got if this shows up in Andor season 2 and they can capitalize on that.
Now, one of the other things that is interesting, which might be a hot button issue here with this specific vehicle, you can kind of see it right there by her finger in this picture, but it looks to be that there is a firing missile on this. And I think you can see it a little bit on this image as well, underneath the wing on the right side. I thought I had one more picture, but I don't. There's the ARC 170 we'll talk about in a second. But it does appear that there is a firing missile. What are your thoughts about that, Adam?
I don't
The long sigh.
I don't hate that at all. You know, I you know, in the Y wings, how we have the little missiles that come off the bottom. I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a cool little feature, and
Very cool.
That surprised me. This I feel like is trying to also help appeal to more of like the younger base by being able to have that, which if that means more ships sell and this line does better, they could do more things, cool, all about it. It'll be interesting to see the mechanics and how they're able to make that work, and how it will also display without that. Like if you didn't want that on there, if it was like maybe too big or too gaudy, you know?
Little gaping hole in the side there.
Exactly, yeah.
So a lot of speculation with it. I was able to confirm per Jazzwares just before we went on. It is indeed a firing missile mechanic.
Okay, nice.
I
don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I mean, you can always remove it. I don't think from the position of where it is on the vehicle, it doesn't look like it's going to be like you're saying, like where there's going to be this big gaping hole in it.
So in a vacuum, I don't hate it. I certainly don't like it. It does nothing for me. It's definitely a net negative for me. But in a vacuum, I don't hate it. But as a whole, the sum of the parts, I think, when you consider the tabs that are popping up on some of the pieces and cockpits and things, when you consider some of the larger cannon pieces now that are soft material, and we'll see that on great display here in a second. The soft material, now we're seeing gimmicks. As a whole, I think Adam hit the nail on the head that somebody is saying we need to appeal to children. The collectors have bought in. We feel like we're in a good place with collectors. If we're going to grow the consumer base of this line, kids are the natural demographic to expand this to. And, you know, I don't know. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be really, really hard to keep a balance of, is this a hardcore collector line? People that bought Action Fleet are in their 30s, maybe hitting 40, and the same toy that person likes, I don't think these type of people, if they're catering to a 7-year-old, there's going to be some tension there, I think, and finding that balance is going to be really important. I do know that I do know for a fact it is important to Disney and to Jazzwares that this appeals to a wider demographic and children also. But I would, as a parent of a 4-year-old who has played with these with 4-year-old and has played with lots of Star Wars toys with a 4-year-old, probably when he shouldn't have, much too early to be playing with some of them. I don't think you have to dumb down toys to the level that you think a kid is at.
Exactly.
I think kids will surprise you with how much they can appreciate something like that. And they don't need it to be a Fisher Price toy. Not saying that that's what this is going to turn into or where it's going.
No.
But I think you can respect the maturity of some of these kids. And I would point to Exhibit A of it not going the right way is Mission Fleet is dead and gone now. Mission Fleet was an Ollie's exclusive, essentially. I mean, seriously, they clearanced the whole line, almost the entirety of the line. And what was the main gimmick of Mission Fleet? Every freaking object in that line had a missile launcher.
Yeah.
They all had missile launchers. Backpacks had missile launchers. Small little one-person walkers had missile launchers. The big ships had multiple missile launchers.
The missile launchers had missile launchers.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
To be
how
honest,
much
though, with the mission
kids care
fleet
about
stuff, the mission fleet, beyond having those gigantic holes on it to put those, if they had removed those, I thought it was actually not bad. You know, sure, like the figures are kind of like your galactic heroes, but the vehicles were really not bad at all. They were well made. They had some features to them. The only thing that stunk about them is they had those gigantic holes on it, like right in the middle of the wing, where it's like, ah, man, I just want to like sand that thing off and fill it in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
I have some faith in them to kind of teeter that line, but I would, man, I just hope we don't start catering too much
Yeah.
to that audience. I would just tell them to don't design down to what you think a fourth grader is into.
They have
just
much
design a
better
good toy.
fingers than you would imagine. You don't have to make a tab that sticks out, you know, half an
100%.
inch in order to be able to get their fingers on. They have smaller fingers than we do.
Yeah.
So they can get in there. Yeah, man, that drives me nuts.
Yeah. What you're saying earlier is my daughter, she naturally comes in here and she loves to play with the ships. Like I have interceptors down here and she'll just pick them up, start playing with them and like just do things because I show her like, oh, you know, flying around, stuff like that. She loves.
And she's what now? Not even three?
She turns 3 in May and she like loves them. And she loves the droids, you know, she likes to take out the droids and put them in, you know. So I mean, I don't know. I agree with what you said about not dumbing it down, you know, or bringing it down too much.
Yeah, I think there's other ways to do that. And maybe it's not dumbing down the toy, but maybe it's supporting or marketing supporting the play of all these people that were into Action Fleet that now have the kids. I think that's the in from a marketing and design standpoint is, man, how do you share this with your kid and make it a family event? You know,
yes.
I just all the data just shows that kids. I don't know that kids are just rushing out to buy these things on their own accord. So the in is through the parent who's buying these, and the kid sees their parent enjoying something. It looks cool, and they just want to be a part of that. So we'll see where it goes. I don't know. I've already seen a little bit of eyebrow raising in the Facebook groups over that mechanic, but it is indeed a firing missile.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it looks like, and is it hidden well enough to where it doesn't look that bad. I mean, certainly with the Millennium Falcon's got the firing missile in it as well in the Action Fleet, and it's right in the middle. So it's right in the middle of the like where the whatever the launch thing was. But if that actually recessed in deeper, or if you don't have it in there and you're not looking at the thing straight on, it's got like a little plus sign to it, and it looks totally fine. Like it doesn't look bad at all. I mean, you can take the missile out of it and it looks normal. When you put the missile in, it just kind of sticks.
One of the few I never had for some reason. Never found a before the days of eBay.
Yeah, never
found a Millennium Falcon Action Fleet in person.
So one of the interesting things about the Millennium Falcon, Adam, I don't know if you know that. Do you know about the secret message in the Falcon?
I think somebody said this later. You had to like hold a few buttons down, right?
No, if you actually literally take the Action Fleet Millennium Falcon, it's going to be either the common release version or the version that came in the the Hasbro re-release version. There were 3 versions of the Millennium Falcon. You had the standard release, the classic battles version, and then you had the Hasbro re-release. The classic and the Hasbro one, if you take the screws out of the bottom and you pull the vehicle apart, on the inside of it, Jim Fong, who was the guy that came up with the design of it, actually wrote a message in there that's actually stamped into the plastic. Or it's actually
Wow.
embossed. It's
Wow.
embossed in it.
I got chills a little bit. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's just
Wow.
something I can't remember what it says offhand. I have a picture of it somewhere, but
Wow.
it is
That was
really
a lot
cool.
of setup to not remember the message.
I think it
Dang
says
it,
something
Kevin.
along the lines
I'm gonna have to
of
go Google it now.
Live,
Yeah.
laugh,
Man.
or something on there.
it
What
might
a
say
disappointing
something
payoff.
similar to that.
Someone in chat, tell us what that message says, please.
Yeah,
shoot.
I'm sure somebody in there knows it. But
Someone's got to know. Oh
That's
my
cool.
goodness.
That
All right.
reminds me of the movie Ready Player One. I don't know, for some reason that reminds me of the main characters. Like they're trying to get his money and all that kind of stuff, and he does all the secrets to try to get to the next clue. That kind of reminds me of that. That's a cool thing. Yeah.
Speaking of
cool.
payoffs, there was one more big reveal.
That was a good transition. I like that.
That's what I get paid the big bucks for. One good transition per show.
Yep. The ARC 170. This thing looks massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does look big. It reminds
Starship
me.
class.
It is Starship class. It looks like it's about, I'd love to know the size of that riser, but this thing looks like it's probably about, again, 8 inches wide. So you're talking roughly the width of the Millennium Falcon is what I would imagine this to be. And some really cool shots of this. So there it's got the wings open and kind of like Cole was saying here with those guns on the guns are kind of like this soft. I can't believe they wouldn't fix that before they put this thing out there. But the guns are warped. You can see that in the image.
Yeah.
Unfortunate that it is that way. You know,
what is going on with this piece, Kevin?
Yeah.
That is a massive, massive piece to be soft plastic. Right?
Agreed. Yeah. And it could be just that. Well, no, it does look like the whole thing, but you could potentially remove it kind of like Transformers did. So the Transformers crossover version actually has that whole gun part comes off. And so you could still keep it. It would not be a safety hazard at that point if you could pop the thing off of there. Obviously, I think you run into some issues with the wing where you would have to have a hole that would go all the way through the wing in order for that to work. But I wouldn't really hate that versus having that soft plastic thing that just does not look very good.
So I was slightly, I wouldn't, worried is not the right word.
Yeah, there's a picture of it there on the right.
And others noticed it on Good Morning America. And I thought, they don't do toys there. They are rushing to get this stuff out of a box onto a display. That's the last thing on their mind.
Right.
But now that we see it like that at the booth at Toy Fair, a little alarm bells going off on that. It's a huge piece. You know, I think with some warm water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you'll be able to straighten that up. But again, this is another feature. If they're catering to, they're trying to get that age range of the toy approval down, I think, for safety standards. And the younger kid you're catering to, the more you're going to see stuff like that. So, you know,
now great thing is there's
droopy.
not a big tab.
It's a little flaccid.
Yeah, there's not a big tab on the top of the cockpit there, which is great. And this one was a cool image to see with the whole thing open. This is going to be a 3-seater. So you can see the clone in the rear, and then you've got your droid, and then you have the front cockpit there does have the seats for 2 troopers. We don't know exactly
interesting
how
droid
many you're going to be getting. Yeah, blue droid with a maroon top to it. I have no idea.
I don't know if that's canon. I don't remember that, but I'm sure
I don't know the
knows it.
vehicle
It's on
well
Wikipedia
enough
somewhere. It looks like only two clones and a droid. You know, with Starship class, I'm trying to think what the max number we've seen is.
4.
And I think it's typically been 3, right?
Typically 3, although the Rebel U-Wing has got 4.
Which is a repaint. and I think they may have room in the budget to be able to do that. The first one just came with the 3.
Yeah, the first one came
So,
with the 3. Yeah.
again though, it's a repaint, of a clone.
Hmm.
If there's a way for them to throw one in, I'd love to see a clone pilot, maybe 2 clones and the droid. But I don't know what the confirmation is on that. That'd be a good thing to ask. Like, can we find out what actually comes with this? And again, the Tiger Shark repaint got to be coming to
Yeah.
Vault or something like that. This is ripe to match the Munilist 10.
Yeah, I think they could, to be perfectly honest,
Yes.
there are a few different versions of this. They could certainly do something very similar to what they did with the LAT and be able to run a couple of them. You can do different nose art on them and different
A lot of
color
colorway
schemes.
options there.
Yeah, you could do a ton with this, similar to that, which would
And I
be
expect it
cool.
to, that's a viable option for them for sure, because this was the winner of the fan voted bracket a couple months ago.
Yes, it was.
Mhm.
That's absolutely right.
So
How many votes were in that?
out of all the ship, several thousand.
Yeah,
How many what?
thousands.
Votes?
Yeah,
Yeah, several thousand people took part in that. So, kind of a shocker that this beat out a lot of the original trilogy stuff, but I mean, it's one that people obviously are really, really into.
Hell
I've
yeah,
seen mostly just
Oh.
hype from this. So,
Kevin.
I didn't mean to do that.
it looks great. I like it.
Hmm.
I really want to see better images, and I think those are coming this week.
Yes.
I'll post those as soon as I have them.
Yes.
I think the lighting and the photography and getting compressed 4 times with it being reposted
Yeah.
is not doing the details any favors. I do think it might need, if it's not there, it might need a little bit of panel lining on it to make some of that detail pop.
Right.
But these images don't seem to be doing a lot for those details and lines in the ship.
Hmm.
It looks real smooth right
Right.
now, I would say.
I'm interested to see how those small wings function, to see, because certainly some of the images of it looks like those bottom wings are drooping out. Like, do they snap in? Like they clip into position, like we've seen with, maybe a cockpit or something like that. Or what the deal is. I think that'd be interesting
The
to see.
wings,
Yeah, with those S foils that open.
I just hope they lock into place well.
Agreed.
I know we've seen a couple images that they're a little bit of gapping there. I don't know what the actual mechanism is that's doing the work on these, that's actually separating the wings. But it would be really, really, really great if those actually snapped tightly closed and then opened
Let's
as well.
hope
But
so. It doesn't look like it, but
I
let's
know.
just hope so.
Yeah,
Right.
I hope that's the case. That's the main mechanic and function of the ship. So I hope that's something they were able to really nail and dial in there.
Yeah,
And
the
do
one
we-
thing I hope it doesn't, that it is not, is a spring-loaded mechanism. Because
Mm.
their spring-loaded mechanisms they've had in a couple of these vehicles just do not hold up. Great in principle,
Yeah,
but just don't seem to hold up very
I mean,
well.
in general, not the best. Just across the board with toys, some of that
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
The awful spring mechanism in the vintage collection TIE Fighter to be one of them that almost doesn't work at all. It will just explode on your shelf randomly.
This is the one where you push on the sides and the wings pop off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a button, that pops off, but they do not stay in very well.
Do we
It's
know?
awesome. It's kind of crazy that in the midst of Series 8 just randomly showing up on Amazon, and that's how we get the pre-orders, that's how we see the images, that's how we find out about some of the rares and chases from Light Armor. This shows up on Good Morning America. I mean, it's
Right.
like, this is the whole gamut of how you could market and do a toy reveal. And it's pretty insane. I was just curious, just real quick, like, what would your ideal scenario be, or cadence, whatever it is, for them revealing new product? Because I don't think the ideal scenario is these just showing up on retailers' websites.
Mm.
But they can't be Good Morning America big every time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what do you think, Adam? Because you're obviously into lots of different lines. You know, I'm not like
Mhm.
this is kind of it. Like I maybe a little bit of Marvel, a little bit of Black Series, but what do you see out there in some of the other lines in terms of the cadence of reveals and when things are coming and all that?
Social media is a big outlet, on how they reveal things.
But
And
do you
that's how.
feel like Jazzwares is doing a good job here of revealing stuff that's coming with Micro Galaxy Squadron, or is it like that seems like we're behind?
No, yeah, I feel like there could be some quicker reveals on a lot of these things, or maybe a few things that could build up hype.
Mhm.
Like, hey, like, you could do like a 3 post, like something, a part of the ship, part middle of the ship, something of the ship, boom, and it's complete it that way.
Right.
Um, yeah, vault announcements are very cool. But yeah, I get a lot of my stuff from social media, and seeing it on Good Morning America was huge because it was just like so random and just like, whoa, like
So random.
big. Like, I mean, I stopped what I was doing. I was like, what is this? But yeah, I do feel like Jazzwares could be a little bit quicker with the reveals and kind of maneuver them certain ways. Um,
Yeah,
for,
it feels like catch up.
And
yeah.
do
A
you feel
lot
like
of the
in
time
some
they're
of the
playing
other
catch up.
lines that you collect, Adam, that like that they're on it, or is it kind of the same? 'Cause I just don't know. I'm like
No,
totally
I
out.
mean,
Who's
Jack.
doing it best?
Um, God. Um, Jack's Pacific, I would say, is doing it less than Jazzwares.
Wow.
We don't see a lot of like Sonic stuff like revealed
Who?
until like months. Jack Pacific.
Who?
um, but
But at the
he-
top, I think
man,
you've got Hasbro, who
yeah,
does, at this point, is doing monthly almost super high production
yeah,
reveal
reveals.
videos.
hmm
The
I like
only
that.
issue is that's a lot of money and time to put into those,
Yes,
but they kind of it psychs you up because of the level of production and things like that. You get people expect them to all be home runs, and sometimes that's just not it for the production cycle. So you get a lot of disappointed people that are like, this could have been an email, I
right.
think, in those
Mm.
videos, and no one likes to complain more than Star Wars fans, we know. But there is a lot of disappointment in that with those high production videos.
hmm
I felt like that is something you hit maybe once per wave. So you're only doing those 3 times a year maybe. And then you use social media or streams or something like that to reveal other things, like a subline, like the episode 1 collection, or vault. I don't know how they would end up doing vault or envision that happening, but there's all kinds of store exclusives and things like that need to be promoted and put out there. And I know it's not easy. Just from the little bit I chat with them, there are so many approvals. Like, it is so easy for us to say, hey, just do a stream. Show us everything. What's
Right.
going on? When
Right.
in reality, it's like, hey, these two have been held up by Lucasfilm because they want the copyright tweaked.
Right.
This one, the images didn't turn out quite like we wanted, so we're having to have the promo images redone.
Right.
This one actually got moved and pushed to a later wave. Um,
hmm
this one is a store exclusive, and we're waiting on our retail partner to market and approve that one. So when stuff leaks, or you see things, or things pop up on a retailer, there are so many hoops and approvals and things that are going on that are so far outside of the things that we typically think
Absolutely.
of,
Mhm.
that I know it's super, super hard, but I do think there's got to be a better path. There's
Mhm.
got to be something that can happen that isn't just like, hey, we're using shows, we're using conventions and events as the only place we're seeing this stuff. And
Right.
I know we're going to see a lot at Celebration,
Mhm.
but
There
I
needs to
would
be something
love
in
to
the
see
middle.
them utilize social media,
Mhm.
um,
Absolutely.
video, live stream. If they don't want to invest in the infrastructure for in-house production,
Mhm.
uh, live streams, whether it's with us, that would be amazing.
Okay.
But with someone else, they partner with and do live streams,
Mhm.
there's got to be a better path, I think, than what happened with Series 8.
Yeah, and I like that they do their jazz, coming up on the Jazzers Vault, type of videos. I do like those. Some of them, like they announced Yokai, like in December or like late November, the Halo figure, and that got people like, okay, this is coming, this is happening, and for Halo, that was huge because we didn't know if we were ever going to see that figure, if it was just going to be, a south of the border exclusive, and like where the How Runner base says, how does Jazzers handle the Halo figure reveals? And it's honestly the same way that they're handling Micro Galaxy Squadron, but I feel like at a lesser scale because Halo is not really in the spotlight right now.
Because Micro Galaxy Squadron has
Yeah,
product coming out.
yeah. So
What
when
was that, a
they,
new figure? That Halo figure?
I mean, no, it was honestly
Yeah,
first revealed like 2 years ago. It was supposed to come out, and
that's insane.
GameStop, I guess, never picked up that figure. They wanted Chief. They want the main. Every retailer wants to see the main characters. So you have Star Wars, you have the Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker, R2D2, Sonic the Hedgehog. You're going to see all Sonics. Mario, same thing. You're going to see Mario. They the main characters that kids or somebody can just go up there and say, "I want a Sonic figure," or "I want a Master Chief figure." And yeah, so I like that they did some things, announced them early, and I do like the announcing the next vault reveals like a week or two in advance. So if we can keep those coming, and then maybe a few big things in between Comic Con, Toy Fair,
Yeah.
Celebration.
I do think part of it is the expectation is high for Star Wars. I think not all brands are equal. Not all brands need the same level of hype and engagement. But the
Mhm.
collecting community around Star Wars is so large and so engaged that I think the brand kind of demands not just not just the collector, but the brand kind of demands that fanfare around it. And I do think that things will be getting a little better in that department.
Mhm.
Yet to be seen, but I do think they are making an effort as we speak to
Yeah,
try to
absolutely.
change some of that, and community engagement and things like that will be on the up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
got
the community engagement would be a big one. You got 3 people right here, that'd be great for
yeah.
being able to show off the new stuff that you got coming.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I've always appreciated the most about Jazzwares is they are really invested in like talking with us, talking to people and like getting perspective and then like changing it. Like anybody in this comment section can pretty much write a comment and probably somebody from Jazzwares would eventually read it. There's just there's like
They are in the Facebook group. So
yes.
when you're spouting off whatever it is, in the Facebook groups, there's a really good chance that they're seeing that. So they're not
Yes.
oblivious to what's
No.
going on.
No.
Um,
And they
they
engage.
see it, they know. And beyond that, I think there's probably Lucasfilm people in there as well from the licensing department, things like that, that are in the groups just to monitor those things. So they see it. We have conversations with them. There is an effort being made right now, uh, to help those areas.
Mhm.
So
Good.
Absolutely.
good on them.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. That was fun. Star Wars fans,
Mhm.
absolutely rabid. We'll take whatever we can get and still demand more.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Adam,
Yeah.
now is the point where we sometimes zoom out from the micro galaxy into the wider Star Wars galaxy and run through general Star Wars news,
Okay.
which again there was tons of. And since we're running a little long tonight with all the things going on, and there was a lot of Star Wars news. I don't know if you've seen this past week. A little bit of hubbub about Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, is that true? Is she exiting?
Well, so it was a roller coaster for sure. It came out from Puck that she would be exiting sooner rather than later. They were trying to fill her shoes. Some of the internet rejoiced. I think a lot of the internet rejoiced, but she has her defenders, which is great. She has had an amazing career.
Yeah.
CNN comes out maybe the next day, maybe the night of something, with an article basically saying, no, this is not true. Hold on.
Oh.
There's all kinds of just meltdowns. It all kinds of drama going on social media. And she ends up doing I don't want to say damage control, but a let's clear the air interview with Deadline, a respectable outlet. And, a lot of people were saying, look, see, this comes up all the time. She's not actually out. You guys are just toxic, whatever. She's here to stay. A lot of people were doing a little victory lap when that came out. But if you really read this super long interview, it actually does kind of confirm what was being put out there.
Mm.
She is in the process of exiting. I'm just going to go through and hit some of the highlights because it's very, very long, and I'm going to do this pretty quick. But she gave us updates on almost every project, just willingly. I don't know why, because Celebration is next month.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we're getting all these updates on other projects. But here we go. From Deadline, interview with Kathleen Kennedy. She starts out by saying she will never retire and will die producing movies. So she is in this for life. It's her life. She loves it. However, she has been in talks with Bob Iger and Alan Horn from Disney on a succession plan. The successor could be announced within months, or it could be announced by the end of the year, within a year. That's a pretty big timeline, but that's kind of confirming what was out there, that she would be done by the end of the year.
Right.
That may not be the actual specific timeline, but there is a transition happening for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes on to say she's going to hang around to help onboard them. She then downplayed all the canceled projects that gets a lot of attention, and just basically said that's just part of the process and that's not unusual, which she's right. But Disney needs these hype moments and these announcements to keep investors and the board and everything like that happy. So I do sympathize with her that there's probably a lot of pressure to put out announcements out there for every single event, D23, Comic-Con. So some of those things that are going to get out there that may not have been quite ready for something to actually happen with. But big news, Simon Kinberg, who's writing the next trilogy of films, should have something submitted around June, and this continues the saga post Episode 9. For those unfamiliar with Simon Kinberg, he was a writer and producer on Rebels. Great. But he also was at Fox for a long time and had a hand in most of the X-Men movies. Great. Some of them, Last Stand, Phoenix, not so great. So his work has run the gamut. He's got some great projects, some not as great projects in his filmography, but he worked on Rebels, so he has the benefit of the doubt as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
He worked on The Martian, which won all kinds of awards. So
Yeah.
there's a pedigree there. I'm excited. We'll see what happens with that. The next movie after Mando and Grogu, Sean Levy's movie with what we think is Ryan Gosling, will be a standalone movie set a few years after the sequel trilogy, and we could potentially see sequel trilogy characters show up. Levy, coming off a very successful Deadpool and Wolverine movie, has worked with Ryan Reynolds quite a bit, and I believe he is the Night at the Museum guy.
Wait,
Did all the Night at the Museum movies.
Did you say Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Reynolds, in all these movies that he's done.
Oh,
Fall
Ryan
Guy,
Gosling
not
was
Fall
supposed
Guy.
to
What's
be in the movie?
The Netflix one?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
something like Adam Project or something.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, sorry.
He did several movies with him, so he's had a pretty incredible upward trajectory.
Okay.
But I believe he is co-writing and I believe directing as well. So we'll see what happens with that. It seems like that's being fast-tracked if that's the one for 2027. 3 or 4 projects that are going at the moment, she feels confident will come out. James Mangold of all kinds of fame, Indie, Dial of Destiny, the recent Bob Dylan movie that was nominated for lots of awards, the car movie, Ford v Ferrari, and he did Logan, right? I believe he did Logan.
I'm not too sure.
So,
but if you did do Logan, I really enjoyed Logan. So.
We don't know quite where he was. The one that was going back and doing the story of, I believe, the first Jedi. Long time ago, and he basically stopped. Free Guy was that movie, by the way. But he not Fall Guy, Free Guy. But they have to wait on him, and she basically says, like, if you want to work with top talent, you have to wait on top talent. I don't think they are expecting these people to stop their whole career and make Star Wars the number one priority. They've earned the right to kind of pick and choose what projects they're going on with. Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I like him.
Is working with a new co-writer now on his film. A lot's been made over the last year or so about his script not being finished and not having a third act. But he's with a new co-writer now, and Kathy says she likes the first act that she's read, but nailing Taika down can be tricky. She says
he seems like a free,
yes,
kind of like all over the place.
Yeah,
absolutely,
like a scatterbrained.
Yeah.
And then to wrap up, she says she won't say if she'll be out as boss this year. She just doesn't know. She just doesn't know. She said it will be her decision when she's done though. And then in some slightly more recent news, yesterday, Jon Favreau told a French outlet, I believe, BFM TV, that Mandalorian season 4 is already written. So a lot has been made about is this movie the end of Mando's journey? People said season 4 turned into the Mando movie, but apparently during post-production he wrote season 4, so this movie will not be the end of the cash cow Din Djarin's journey.
Yeah, they can't stop it. They really do. If they ended it with the movie, that would be such a major flop. Like, you've got to keep that story going. It's been the one thing that has driven the Star Wars galaxy since The Force Awakens, really. I mean,
that's close to universally loved, right?
Yeah.
It seems like every project has Rogue One, a lot of people like, but a lot of split, on this contentious reactions to this stuff. So I do agree. It's got to keep moving.
Man, Hasbro, what's Hasbro going to do if they can't put out more Mandalorian figures?
It's the Sonic 100%. The Hedgehog of Star Wars, man.
Yeah. One quick question before we move on and start to wrap things up. We're getting Mando and Grogu next year, and then it sounds like this Sean Levy movie will be coming in 2027, the year after.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had a movie for 7 years by the time that this Mando and Grogu movie comes out. What is your ideal output for? And we've slowed down in shows now too. I believe Ahsoka is the only show that's happening right now. Who knows? But what is your ideal output or cadence for Lucasfilm that would make you happy? Because too much, we've found out, can be a bad thing too.
Yeah, I mean, I just want good stories. I want to be taken into a world that I just fall in love with, and I just want good writing and good stories and good characters, and so if that takes every 2 years, then I'm cool with that, as long as we're getting some good stories, some good characters. And I don't know, like I love Star Wars. I've always loved Star Wars, but I lost some magic for Star Wars, if that makes sense. Like
when it was all the time.
Yeah, when it was all the time, and like the Book of Boba Fett, like I wanted to love that show. There was a lot of things that I was just like, come on, and then even parts of the Mandalorian, I was just like, okay, like I didn't watch Acolyte because everybody crapped on it, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just kind of take a break from Star Wars. I think Andor and Ahsoka were the last two things that I watched. It took me a while to actually finish Andor, but
Have you watched Skeleton Crew?
No, I didn't watch it.
No,
I know. Everybody
forget Daredevil, which is premiering as we speak. We've lost some viewers to Daredevil.
Yeah, okay.
Go watch Skeleton Crew right now, because Skeleton Crew was amazing.
Really
it's
good.
Basically standalone, and it is pure fun and adventure, and that is something that we had kind of been lacking for a year or two now.
Everybody I talk to who I hold in high regard for Star Wars loves it, and I'm gonna get around to it. I'm gonna watch it. If I'm not at my main job or being a husband, father, I'm like creating content. I'm always like, my head is in the dirt.
Yep.
And that's part of my downfalls. I don't take a lot of time for myself to just like kind of like, this is for myself, like today, right now. This is for me, basically, because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing any content or anything. But that is the first thing that I plan on watching is Skeleton Crew.
It was very fun. The premise, basically, that I think the pitch is Amblin Star Wars.
Yeah.
And they in that regard, I think they nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned,
yeah,
I did not like these. Part of the problem with the sequel trilogy was the annualized nature of these movies, and productions on these movies take so long that when they overlap, it is extremely hard for the left hand to know what the right hand's doing when you've got productions overlapping that hard. And again, the hype kind of died for me a little bit. It doesn't feel special.
Yes.
It's not a tent pole blockbuster event when it's every single year.
Yes.
So my personal preference, Cole's preference, if he ran, if you're looking for people that know nothing about the industry to take over Lucasfilm, Disney Plus, we get 2 live action seasons per year. So there's only 2 shows running at any given time. When one ends, something else can go. But you've got 2 live action shows, 1 animated show, and your blockbuster movies are only happening every 2 to 3 years.
That's a healthy stock, I would say. That's pretty healthy.
Yeah. And honestly, 3 years would probably be my preference.
Yeah.
You look at companies like Hasbro and Jazzwares and things like that. I think it's hard for the licensees to keep up with that amount of new content as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because the production timelines on these are so long. And you look at companies like Mayfex and things like that, where figures are coming out 3 years after they aired in new media, just because their cycle is so much slower.
Right.
So I do think that would give people time. You know, we may not hit every character in all those TV shows,
Sure.
but you would be able to ramp up and do a film service. Like, you'd really be able to service that film with a full run of product because you've got that timeline. And there's a taper to it as well after the film is out while you're gearing up for the next film 3 years later. But I don't know. That's just me. I know nothing. But as a consumer, I think that would be the sweet spot for me.
Yeah. I just want good stories. I want to feel the magic of Star Wars again. And then I guess part of that too is like, you know, like as much as I love the Star Wars fandoms, a lot of it can be very toxic, and you know, and I guess sometimes it can be hard for people to love certain things if somebody is like are always so toxic about it, you know, or if the majority of the population is so toxic about the one thing, you know. But I don't know.
Howlrunner brings up a good note. They're dropping. There are less weeks of Andor season 2, and they are dropping each arc per week. So I believe there's 4 weeks of 3 episodes. Is that right?
I didn't realize it was that much. That's I like that.
I thought that they were doing 4. They were going to be doing 4 time periods, 2 episodes a piece. That was my understanding from what I'd heard.
Yeah, it might be 3 episodes, but that is how they are distributing it. It is 1 arc, 1 year, one story, which they kind of did in season 1 for the most part. One director and writer would kind of take on an arc for the most part. I like it. I think it's a cool way. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of weeks there to sit and discuss and digest it. It is real quick, but I do like the idea of sitting down and watching a new movie every week, essentially. And hopefully the quality is the same level as
about
season
it. 1. This is my one major pet peeve about that is why make it 3 episodes? Why not make it 1 giant episode? Because the thing that bothers me about the season 1 of Andor is that separation. Like, I'd love to watch Andor with no end of the episode transition to the next, because the series really is built that way, where this show just ends. It, like, they're in the middle of a conversation, and then all of a sudden the credits roll, and you're like, hold on a second, what just happened? And then the next episode picks up right where they left off. Like, give me something that's uncut where I can actually watch the thing from beginning to end, and I'll be hooked in. Because it's, those first 3 episodes of Andor were just tough to get through because there's just not a lot.
I wouldn't mind that as additional content for the older series if they were recut. I don't know if that somehow messes with their metrics.
I'm sure it does.
But as an option, you know, that would be really cool if you could go back and watch Kenobi without all the extra intros and
dude, that would be the best.
And two, they may not actually be able to do that because of the way the credits and residuals and things like that. That's my guess. Is they can't do that because that fundamentally changes how all those credits and residuals. We know all the unions and stuff in Hollywood would come after them. So that's probably the reason. But I would love that if that stuff was. I know somebody mentioned the Patterson cut. I know he's done some stuff with cutting like a Ahsoka into a feature film and kind of cutting some of the content out to make it a 2.5-hour movie, something like that. But I would enjoy that for sure.
Agreed. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Well,
awesome. You want to hit a quick spotlight here for because we always do this at the end of the program, is a community spotlight, and this picture is awesome. I teased it earlier accidentally. But this
Kevin
thing
with the quick
is
fingers.
sick.
Yeah, I love it.
I've seen him in chat tonight. Adelphi Rangers submitted this. I didn't have to go looking for one this week. This was a submission, and I believe, based on his message, this was something he did with his son, I believe.
Oh, I love
so
that.
It's back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
It is so fun, so cool to get to enjoy this with the next generation.
I mean, how many of you guys did? I used to do that all the time with like my GI Joes and Star Wars toys when I was a kid. It's like, let's go find the creek and throw these things in the
Dude,
water.
yes,
You know,
yes,
like
absolutely.
that
Super
was so
fun.
cool.
I think I've always been just a psychopath and anal about everything, and I didn't want to get anything dirty or dusty or
I mean,
Oh man,
I
we
was the
throw them in
kid.
the pool.
Yeah, I was the kid,
Yeah.
like, when friends came over, I'm like, "Well, man, maybe don't I'll give you this one to play with. I don't this one's,
Yeah.
harder to find. I don't want you playing with this one."
There's a
You
great
know?
book out there called Be Fair and Share. That's a good one to have for the kiddos.
Yeah. Yeah, Delphi Rangers. What's up, man? Let's see. He said, "Oh, here we go. It was all my son's idea. I just snapped the pic." So
That's
I
awesome.
love that.
Very
God,
cool.
that's great.
Playing with your kid, having fun.
Yeah.
I will say this last snow we had, my son was super, super, super excited to take the AT-AT out and put it in the snow. It's like one of the one things he wanted to do, and I'm like,
Yes.
"Oh, man," and that part of me came out again where I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want it to get wet, though,"
Oh,
and
Cole.
And then the neck is gonna fall apart. It's just
Yeah,
gonna literally disintegrate in the
so we
cold.
grabbed the one that didn't have batteries, and I let him put
Nice.
that one out there, and, he
That's
had fun
great.
with it, and, it's also fun to play with daddy's, stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was awesome. I love the idea of, just
It,
passing along,
yes.
what you have learned with the next generation.
You build such a strong relationship with your child when you do that, and I feel like 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 you said, you pass the torch, and like my folks never really played with me like that, so I make it a point to play
Same.
with my daughter, like Bluey or whatever, and things that are important to her, and
Yeah.
just because I never had that, and I thought that was the coolest thing. So when I see people do that too, I'm always just like tipping my hat.
Ooh, we got some green mists coming in here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but somebody's on the delay here.
Milton.
Someone started late. Adam, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Yeah, man.
I hope you had fun. I loved having you here.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
I'm super grateful to be here. I've been eager about it. I love doing this type of thing. I'm not built for like hosting it, and I feel like I get too scatterbrained. So but you guys are great. I love this. It's structured very well, and I love talking about all things micro and the chat too. Everybody's just so cool. I just love being saturated on this.
It's an amazing
Thanks,
community. But
Yeah.
you are frozen on my end.
Yep,
Oh.
we're catching up.
Do you have any content coming up to pitch?
Oh, for Star Wars, I have an idea, Darth Revan thing that I want to do. But aside from that, I have some vintage things here.
Did you say vintage?
Yeah, these little Star Fox plush. If you Star Fox fans, I'm going to be doing a reel on those, archiving of these old vintage plush, and that's coming up soon.
Man, you're breaking up real bad right now, Adam.
Oh,
My favorite droid, nostalgic Adam.
Yeah,
Join us
hold
here.
on a second. It's catching up. I heard you say Star Fox in there, which that game used to get me so sick when
Do
I
a barrel
played
roll.
that.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Somewhat.
Yep, we're catching up. Yeah, I can hear you some, but your video is a little bit blurry.
Oh man.
He's
there we
going full probe droid.
Yeah, full probe droid. Yep. Like that. Okay, so yeah, you were saying Star Fox? Yep.
Yeah, so I have a vintage Star Fox plush over there from Japan. It's the only time they've ever done all 4 characters. I'm gonna be dropping that soon. And then right here, this King Bob-omb plush, super rare, super like that thing is like $800 to $1,000 in good condition. And so I didn't pay that. Thank God I didn't pay that. Yeah, but I'm in the archiving train right now, so that's what I'm working on next. and then on top of all the Star Wars that's coming out. But the Arc is probably what's going to get me to take my next toy photo. I already have ideas of what I want to do, and so once I get that ship or multiples of that ship, I'm going to take some more photos on top of the reel and the reviews and the whole shebang and all that. So that's what's going on next.
And people can find
Nice.
you pretty much everywhere at Nostalgic Adam, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. It's real
On the
fine.
TikToks.
Yeah. And feel free to say hi, connect, and comment on stuff. I mostly respond to all my comments, unless it's like an old video from like 4 years ago, and then somebody writes something, and sometimes I forget. But if you comment on some new videos and new stuff, I most likely write back, and I like to connect with everybody. So.
Have you picked up the new Slave one?
I didn't yet because I have
Repaint?
Django. Yeah, I have Django's and Book of Boba Fett's. I want to because I want obviously little Han Solo
Carbonite.
Yeah, I want that. So I'm gonna hold off on just a little bit before I grab that.
Yeah.
I have some other things that I are taking priority first.
Have fun with those comments.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
Really? Okay, great.
You know, every time that ship comes up, all the comments are the same.
Slave one.
I get it.
Yeah, Adam, I've got to say, man, I don't collect any of the stuff like you do, but I totally appreciate like the passion level that you have for some of that stuff, man. It gets me so fired up. I'm like, damn, man, I want to go out there and get some of that stuff now.
Dude, thank you. That's super kind of you to say. I love it. I have so much fun, and that's what it all comes down to. I have so much fun doing this, and even if like the video I worked so hard on gets like 1,000 views or whatever, 100 views, like I don't care. I had fun. Maybe somebody somewhere will see this video and just be like, "Whoa, that's so cool! Like I really love this thing," and then they will want it. I do it because I love it. I love doing all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it is cool, man. Your passion definitely comes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Cole, I think it's time to sign off here at 2 hours and 15 minutes, man.
Yeah, I think it's a new record for this version of the rebranded Squadcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, while you're in this video hitting the thumbs up, make sure to go over and search Nostalgic Adam and give him a follow.
Oh, thank you.
You can find us at Micro Galaxy Squadron for myself and Kevin's channel.
Yep.
Kevin's Microfleet.
Yeah. So at KM Tanner 04 is actually what my channel is called on YouTube. But yes, Kevin's Microfleet over on Instagram.
I believe there's a way to change that. Correct? I don't think you've totally
if you guys know how to change that, please let me know. I would love to change the name, but I don't think it's possible. I don't think it is.
We'll figure that out. We'll work on that. I think there's something that can happen, I believe.
Yep.
Well, if you have topics you'd like to see discussed or submissions for the community spotlight, you can always send those over on Instagram at Microgalaxy Squadcast or microgalaxysquadcast@gmail.com. We are so happy that you guys have been here. Our next episode, 2 weeks from today, I would assume. How do we feel about Tuesdays? Same crowd. We had even more than last time by a couple.
Yep.
So fortunately, the crowd has followed us as we treat them with free chases. But glad about that. A little harder to get everything together for a Tuesday than it is a Friday when I've got the whole week. But we made it happen.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Oh man, I'll probably sign off and try to start Daredevil. We'll see. I don't know.
Yep. Well, what's going to be our sign off here tonight? So I think we should have the guests come up with a sign off. We always come up with some type of like really obscure. Although Cole did come up with one that was like a reasonable, like we're flying.
It was cheesy. It was cheesy. I did have a pretty good one for a pretty ridiculous and cheesy one for this week, but it was totally dependent on us using the Good Morning America video clip, which did not end up happening. So I can't use that at all. It was totally based on the pew pew pews that they were making on the show.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
if you missed that, check out the Instagram page and find that video to see some people being super awkward and not knowing a whole lot about Star Wars. It was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
But mine is no good at this point.
I'm still getting a lot of. I know I saw a squadding out in there.
I did see that. I hope you didn't.
Squad casting.
I hope you didn't start a thing with that awful one. But it does seem to be catching on.
Cool.
Come on, Adam. You're up, man.
Oh,
you gotta come up
God.
with some kind of cheesy way of signing us off here tonight.
Wings up.
Wings up. We did something like that last time.
Wings up. It's the corniest thing I can think of. I don't know. Do a barrel roll. I don't know.
We certainly should have prepped you for that.
Yeah.
Wings up.
Do a barrel roll is nice.
We're barrel rolling out.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All right, great. Well,
See you
thanks
guys in 2
everybody
weeks.
for tuning in. Appreciate you hanging with us for as long as you did this evening. Thanks, Adam, for joining. Thanks, Cole. We look forward to catching everybody here in a couple weeks.
Cool. All right. Thank you guys for joining.